This is Our View, brought to you by the proud members of the Washington Federation of State Employees, the people who work for you. The Washington legislature is now in session, and Federation President Sue Henricksen makes it clear the membership, on their own time, are advocating for the public we serve.
This year, a session is very important to all of us and to all the citizens of Washington State. Our governor this year, Governor Inslee, has decided that it's time that we repair what has been destroyed in the state of Washington through budget cuts and lean movements. He's been very, very good this year about finding ways to improve our parks. Our park system has been decimated. It's not safe anymore for families to go into parks and spend weekends and such. There's no security there. We now are going to get enough members and enough staff to make sure that our parks are safe and secure for families who do appreciate and enjoy our state parks. It's a wonderful place for our citizens to go. They will now become a lot safer for people. We're also looking at increased safety for children in our state. Our social workers and CPS have been overwhelmed with a number of cases that have been reported to them. They cannot keep up with those. They care deeply about the children, and now the governor has gone and asked for many more social workers to keep our children safe. The governor is also asking for extra staff to make sure our elderly and most vulnerable citizens in this state are safe. We'll be looking at additions to those. We're looking at additions to education, and those will help our children learn and be able to be competitive in the worldwide market, which is very, very important for our children who are growing. This global economy is very, very competitive, and our children need to be prepared to engage in that competition. So we're going to be on the Hill supporting the governor to help this state become a much better, safer, cleaner state for all the citizens in Washington, including those who provide the services. So we believe that Governor Inslee has done a wonderful job with his proposed budget. We believe that there is a need to increase revenue so that we can enjoy the things that he's promoted.
Most of us feel that our Congress has accomplished little in the past 4 years. However, Robert Reich is here to remind us that there has been progress, maybe not because of the Congress, but rather because of citizen action.
As we head into 2015, it's important to keep in mind how quickly progressive change that seems radical, if not a pipe dream at one point in time, becomes feasible when enough people make a ruckus. A few years ago, no one thought that by now 35 states would have supported equal marriage rights, or a $15 minimum wage would be implemented in several places around the country and gaining ground elsewhere, or the Keystone XL pipeline would have been stopped so far. After a tipping point, politicians discover their thinking has evolved on the issue, and they're willing to take a stand. It starts at the local and state level. Washington is often the last to catch on. Movements are gathering force, also against excessive CEO pay, corporate personhood, gerrymandering, and voter suppression, too big to fail Wall Street banks, and in favor of a living wage, paid family and medical leave, and limits on carbon emissions. We're doing it together. Ordinary people joining together to take action. People of color at the center of the fight for racial justice, women standing up against sexual assault, young people demanding immigration reform. Most people want an economy that spreads the benefits of prosperity rather than sending it all to the top. Most don't ever again want to bail out Wall Street. Most want big money out of politics and don't believe corporations are people. Yet many people have also become deeply cynical about politics. Voter turnout in the midterms was lower than it's been in more than 70 years. Let me tell you something. If we join together, we can continue to make change. But if we give up on politics, we give up on our democracy. And if we give up on democracy, we don't stand a chance. That's what the moneyed interests want. That's been their intention all along. Then they run everything, and they get everything. Never, ever underestimate what we can and will accomplish together. We, the people of the United States.
While our economy is getting better, there's still an income inequality that is slowing our progress. The solution is obvious, according to a University of Greenwich School of Business professor who says the inequality is hurting all of us, and it needs to be fixed.
The first thing is to reverse the rise in inequality, reverse the fall in the share of income that goes to working households. So increase the share of labor income, increase the share of wages in national income. How do we do that? It's not rocket science. We know how to achieve that. Increase the minimum wage to a level consistent with living wages to deal with the bottom end of the wages. At the top of the wage distribution, let's think of how to cap the income that goes to the top 1% to the managerial wages. And let's think how we can align wage increases with the rise in prices and productivity in the middle of the wage distribution. This is about giving more power to the labor unions. This is about increasing the coverage of collective bargaining. These are the things that we can do to reverse the rise in inequality. But this in itself is also not a magic bullet. We need to do more than that, and that brings the public sector into the picture. We need decent jobs with decent pay generated in the public sector through investments in the much needed fields in the physical infrastructure, like in energy, transport, housing, but also in social infrastructure like care, education, and health. So what I call is a plan for green and purple jobs with decent pay wage for both men and women.
If you put off getting a flu shot as recommended by our state's Department of Health, according to Federation member Michelle Harper, you cause a serious risk for yourself as well as everyone around you. Get the flu shot.
If you decide to not get a flu shot, you run the risk of getting very, very sick from the flu. You could be hospitalized or even die from it. You also risk spreading it to other people in the community that might be particularly vulnerable, like babies that are too young to be vaccinated, or your friends and family. And you also run the risk of missing a lot of days from work and school. If you feel like cost is a barrier to getting vaccinated, it's important for families to know that all flu vaccine is supplied to children under the age of 19 in the state of Washington for free. And if you're concerned about an office visit fee, you can ask your doctor to waive that when you're in the office. And for adults, they can contact their local health department, or they can contact the family health hotline to see if they can get some assistance in getting their flu shot. If you get the flu and you get very, very sick, it's important that you call your doctor right away. Antiviral medications can help, but they must be prescribed by your doctor, and they needed to be started early.
The Safe Place Women's Shelter has been part of Olympia for over 3 decades, enjoying the support of the community and many Federation members. Safe Place is now raising funds for a new facility, but its executive director reminds us there are shelters in your community that need your support.
Safe Place has been in the Thurston County community for 33 years, providing sexual and domestic violence services for survivors. There are programs similar to Safe Place in every community throughout Washington state. Connect with them, see what you can do to help. Services provided by sexual and domestic violence programs throughout Washington state include 24-hour availability in response to forensic medical exams, also providing safe shelter, also providing support groups and individual advocacy, and connections to other kinds of resources in communities. There are programs similar to Safe Place throughout Washington state. do whatever you can to help raise the funds and help them provide all of these services.
You've been watching Our View, brought to you by the members of the Washington Federation of State Employees. We remind you, when you accept a paycheck for your hard work, you don't give up your rights. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next month.